morning, everybody. I'm Andrea Holzbeck, Supplier Relationship Manager at Avantor, and I'm happy to have you in this webinar from 3M hosted by Avantor today. The topic will be sustainable solutions within the safety portfolio. And before we are moving to the session, I will let you know some housekeeping notes. The webinar will be recorded and the link will be shared with you after the presentation. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat anytime. We will have a Q&A session after the presentation and can discuss or answer your questions. If you have questions at all after the webinar, feel free to email us at webinar@avantorsciences.com. So I'm delighted to present our today's speaker, Bernadette Niehaus. She is a Sustainable Manager of the Safety Division at 3M, and our moderator, Claudia Parys. She's responsible for the technical aspects of making products more sustainable. And now I will hand over to Bernadette to move forward.
Thank you so much, Andrea, and I'm really happy to be invited to present together with Claudia today our 3M Personal Safety Division and our sustainability approaches. And before we go into details, I would like you to read the disclaimer, and I know that you are going to read it word by word and take it in your mind. Stopping for 5 seconds. And then go ahead. Yeah, we are not alone in sustainability in 3M. As you can imagine, as a worldwide company, we are very much linked to our global sustainability division and departments, but also internally, we are working with the sustainability responsible people in all divisions. For you as contacts, and especially for Avantor, your contact people, it's me as a sustainability manager for EMEA and leading service and repair for EMEA, and Claudia, who is the global application engineer and specialist for sustainability. And we are working together with Giovanna Longo in PSD, who is our EMEA regulatory manager. What we would like to present to you today is our 3M company sustainability approach. Then in particular, our personal safety division sustainability strategy, and giving you examples of our products with sustainability features. And then highlighting the specific activities of our PSD manufacturing in environmental protection and sustainability. But before we come to that, we would like to warm you up and have a poll question for you that you can participate in. Andrea, if you may please start the question.
Yes. The first question is, how many coffee to go cups are used every year worldwide? So please choose your estimation. Okay. Okay. I think we can share the results. The correct answer is 16 billion pieces. But alone in Germany, it's estimated to be 3 billion, and latest figure says worldwide it's 500 billion disposable cups.
Wow. And how did because I cannot see the results of the audience, what did the audience say? Were they close?
It was 50-50 for the 16 billion and the answer ahead, the 10 billions, 50-50. So
Yeah.
no one choose 1 billion.
Wow, isn't that yeah, I do not want to say amazing, but isn't that really frightening in a way? Yeah, and this is also the reason, and thank you very much, Andrea, to warm up the audience. This is the reason why 3M is really investing in sustainability. Our goal as a company is to become carbon neutral until the year 2050 by cleaner air, less water consumption, less waste creation, and so on. Until next year, we want to realize 20% less water usage and reduce our dependency on virgin fossil-based plastic by around 57 million tons. Besides that, in 2021, we announced that we want to invest $1 billion just for sustainability in the next 20 years. And we have made already good progress. And you can see all our progress in our yearly updated 3M Global Impact Report. And you can see here in a nutshell what we are reporting for last year. We are working in 3 different pillars: science for circular, science for climate, and science for community. And all these pillars are very much linked to the 17 United Nations Sustainability Development Goals. I have just picked out one topic from each pillar, and I would like to start with science for circular. And I picked out the supplier assessments. We managed to already fulfill and to check with our suppliers, with 8,610 suppliers, their CO2 emissions that impact our emissions as well. And this is extremely important because then we can report back to you what the complete CO2 emissions of our processes and products are. And you always see with every target and the result, you see these little dots. And here is 3 black dots. So that means we have achieved the goal that we have set until last year. And 8,600 does not seem to be so high, but if you consider that we have more than 60,000 suppliers, you can imagine what this means and how much effort we put into the supplier assessments for sustainability. The second pillar is the science for climate. And here we are proud to already have achieved 135 million tons of CO2 emissions that we have avoided for you as customers as well. But you see here one white dot, and this is we have not achieved the target that we have set until 2023 because we want to achieve at least 250 million tons of saved CO2 emissions. So we have set up additional activities to achieve that goal until 2025. And in the pillar of science for community, I have highlighted that we have done more than 8 million trainings instances. And that's covering not only work safety, product training, but also topics like personal development and sustainability. And education is key for us, and it works perfectly towards our strategy of strongly following science and making decisions based on data and facts. We have spoken about the CO2 or becoming CO2 neutral until the year 2050. And I'm more than happy to announce that already last year we committed to the science-based targets. And this means we are really working on reduction of greenhouse gases. So what you can do becoming CO2 neutral is you can do and continue like you ever did before, but you plant enough trees to compensate. This is not possible with science-based targets because here you have a clear scope 3 emissions reduction target on the path of 1.5 degrees, like discussed in the Paris commitment. And also what we have done is choosing the scope 1 and 2 scope and doing a commitment of reducing the emissions by 50% until the end of 2030. So science-based targets you have to set, you have to discuss with the Science-Based Targets Initiative. They have to verify, to agree, and then you are measured every year towards these targets. And so this is really, really a good initiative that we are following up very carefully. I'm specifically highlighting another example in the Science for Community pillar that is also helping to set up social projects in our world, I must say, because this is also related to our more than 8 million trainings instances. What 3M is doing, not only on local basis, but also on the global basis, we offer kind of volunteer projects to 3Mers with specific tasks. They are put into groups and they are supporting for 2 weeks non-governmental organizations, NGOs in the world, to set up projects, to protect the environment, to work out strategies that these NGOs have no capacity for in their normal life. So the 3M Impact Program is well achieved from NGOs, but also from 3Mers who take great experience from these activities. Now I'm coming to the personal safety division and what our strategy is. And of course, we also benefit from the CO2 neutral activities until 2050, and of course from the Science-Based Targets Initiative. Also, we are working on science for circular, science for climate, and science for community. In circular, we are focusing mainly on packaging and products. And here we are considering everything that has to do with implementing recycled content, using recyclable material, even creating products that are recyclable, use less material, reuse material, or even products, certifying material and products itself, and also offering a service and repair for long life PPE. In the Science for Climate, we are concentrating on our manufacturing locations. And I have a specific chart at the end of the presentation, but in a nutshell, it's what our manufacturing locations are working for is less waste, less water usage, less energy consumption, ISO certificates, zero waste to landfill, and using electricity that is coming from renewable energy sources. And in the Science for Community, also in PSD, we are working for trainings, for safety and worker safety, environmental, personal development, and initializing local and regional projects, such like 3M Impact. And when I'm speaking about science, when I'm speaking about training, it's also a very strong approach from 3M to do all decisions based on data and facts. And because many customers are asking us, what is the CO2 emission of your products, your processes, your companies, and your whole company, we have decided to follow the strategy of EPDs, Environmental Product Declaration. And the beauty of it is that the basis is the PCR, and I will have a specific slide for that as next. PCR is the product category rule because when somebody is asking what is better, a disposable respirator or a reusable respirator, you cannot compare if you do not have a kind of definition how you measure CO2 of these two different products, although they belong to the same product category, respiratory. So we have set up a PCR for respiratory have created life cycle assessments around that. So the life cycle assessment you see also in the middle, from the raw material over production to transport, usage, then disposal, all reusable. You are creating a life cycle assessment and you are defining and you are measuring every CO2 emission in this life cycle. And from that, you create the environmental product declaration that is summarizing all this data in one document. And the beauty of it is it's third-party verified by the EPD initiative. It's publicly available and it's objective and standardized environmental data. And why is it so important to have a product category rule? It is to not only compare within different products, disposable respirators, reusable respirators, PNSA, or even other products, it's also to be able to compare in the complete market. Because somebody can tell you my product is emitting this and that kilogram of CO2, but how is this measured? So did they have created their own measurement system or what? And this one is really clearly defined, is taken into consideration all the different stages of a product life and is considering different products within one category. So we are happy that this September, the first product category rule of respiratory is published and openly available. And based on this, we are going to do the measurements of the CO2 emissions of our respiratory products. And I have already spoken about our strategy for products. And this is one activity that we are doing for our well-known Aura disposable respirator masks. For the first 3 types, we implemented at least 25% recycled content into the respiratory product. It has at least, and this is valid for all Aura products, 30% recycled content in the individual packaging that we call flow wrap. 76% recycled content is in the shipper case, and the primary carton of Aura is containing 100% recycled content. All products of the Aura range are manufactured in the UK in our manufacturing location with more than 20 years experience, is ISO 14001 certified, and is using 100% renewable electricity. Another good example, and I forgot to pull up the poll question. Sorry, I was so excited about the PCR. Perhaps we can do it now, Andrea.
Okay,
Sorry.
then no worry. So we have a second question prepared for you. What is the most sustainable way of working with material? Please choose your answer: recycling, prevention, or disposal. Sorry. Okay, I think the choices have been made. 71% says prevention, 29% says recycling. The correct answer, so to say, is the best way to act sustainable is to reduce or to prevent, of course, and the second best would be to reuse.
And that's so true. Thank you very much. And we have asked this question before, or our intention was to ask this question before we go to the different product groups, because we are trying to implement into our strategies also the waste hierarchy. And the best way is really to use a product as long as possible, before you refurbish it, and then recycling, of course, is the next best solution. You have seen one example of using recycled material in the product just before, and we have other examples where we reduce the material that we use for the product, such as here in hearing, where we are leaving out the hard plastic box in blue that we have delivered with every pair of ultrafit earplugs before. But as you know from your own experience, you only use the storage box once, or you don't use it only once. You use it for one pair, and then when you throw away the pair of earplugs, you use it again because you can clean it. So we have left it out of every delivery. You still can place an order for a hard plastic box, which is transparent and then easier to recycle because it has no color. Another example where we are using certificates, especially the FSC label for sustainable managed forests for carton and paper, is all our products that are produced, or communication products that are produced in Sweden and that are coming out of Sweden. All packaging material here is FSC labeled, and we are paying high attention on that. And also in Sweden, our new Peltor WS Alert XPV is produced. And this is a product with a sustainability feature, and the feature is the solar film on the headband you can see here. And this is recharging the lithium ion battery by solar. So it reduces the waste by eliminating single-use batteries. Packaging I've spoken about, it's FSC labeled, it's made in Sweden, and also in Sweden we are using 100% renewable electricity in our production. It offers the over-the-air firmware update, and you can repair it, and spare parts are available. So this is a wonderful example of a new product with sustainability features that we are proud of. But as we said, the longer you use a PPE, the better it is for the environment. And we try to help our customers to use high value and longer, or products, PPE that you use longer, to even extend the lifetime by offering service and repair. And I'm pretty sure that in this audience, there are not so many using welding equipment, but this, of course, is the one that is demonstrating the differences between before service and after service very much. Last but not least, I would like to talk about our manufacturing locations in personal safety in EMEA. And we are having production not only in the UK, but also in Sweden and in Poland and in the Czech Republic. And all our manufacturing locations are ISO 14001 certified. And all manufacturing locations are using 100% electricity that is coming from renewable energy. We have detailed plans with all our manufacturing locations for the reduction of waste and energy, reduction of water usage, reduction of virgin plastic, and increasing our recycling activities very much. And also, I spoke about zero waste to landfill. This is on the plans as well. And we will be able to report more in the near future. The support of our community projects, of course, is target of the different plans, and they are focusing very much, for example, on the STEMS initiative, Girls' Day, Boys' Day, and do a lot of education as well in their specific environment. So I am really happy to be able to work on this field where we can make a difference, where we have to consider a lot of different conditions. But what is really important is we will not compromise workers' safety. So every time we are considering to do a more sustainable or product with sustainability feature and to implement sustainability activities and processes, we are always checking first the condition of our products, and that worker safety is not kind of questioned. So that's the number one for us. But everything else, then we are checking carefully what is possible. So we work with passion, as you can imagine. There is more to come in the near future. And if you want to learn about all the details of our sustainability activities in PSD, but also in the 3M company worldwide, please check our yearly updated 3M Global Impact Report. It's a very detailed one, so it's, I think, around 150 pages with all the details, what we are doing, what our plans are, what we achieved so far. And if you have questions, we are more than happy if you come back to us. Thank you so much. And I think now the questions and answers session started.
Okay, thank you, Bernadette, for leading us through the webinar and the presentation of our sustainability work and efforts we do. I'm happy to start the Q&A session, and I see some questions here in the chat. So let's start maybe with one. There's one regarding the packaging material. Why haven't you chosen paper as a packaging material for the Aura respirator and the products? I think that is in relation to the polybag, where we have at the moment recycled content and still a plastic version in place. But I would take over if you don't mind. The next one would be for you, what I see. So the answer is, of course, we need to make sure that, first of all, the product is safely packed as before, as the previous version. Second one, our decision is always made science-based. And as you have seen, it has shown, we do most of the things with life cycle assessments. So we really screen very deeply what is the impact of the packaging change as well in the life cycle assessment, and what does it mean in the end about CO2 emissions. So we had various options in place. We have investigated them. There were also paper versions, which had in this case really coatings on top to prevent from humidity, and were not the best option for us in this case. So it's not like we are not using paper at all. You have seen it in the earplug example, for example, where we have efficiently made that, and it was good for this application for storage conditions. But for the respirator, we could not find a paper solution which gave us lower CO2 footprints in the end. The plastic version, which is easily recyclable and handleable for the user at end of life, was the option to go, and have shown us good results in the life cycle assessments, and that's why we decided in this case. But it's always like we have several options, we investigate them science-based, and then make a final decision where we see the lowest emissions impacted by the packaging as well. Okay, then for you, Bernadette, maybe. Your target is to become carbon neutral in 2050. Isn't that a too long time frame?
Oh, that's a good question. Yes, we wished we would be able to do it much quicker, but as you can imagine, as a manufacturing company, emissions is somehow nature of production. So this is already difficult enough. And we are very happy that we have signed the Science-Based Targets Initiative last year. So that is really towards reducing the greenhouse gas emissions, and that will be in combination to carbon neutrality. This is going to be our approach for the future. Yes, 2050 is a long time to go, and we have set in between milestone steps. As you have seen, 2030 is approaching. Even 2025, we have had set clear targets. So we would do it step by step, but we also have to be realistic. What is possible and what is not possible. And as I said, everything we do is towards sustainability under the condition that the product is working as it should, and especially in personal safety, it's unconditional worker safety. So yes, it's long. We are doing everything to accelerate.
Okay, thank you. I see another good question where I think it matches also to the first question I had. Why don't you use bio-based materials in your products? So I would take that over, Bernadette. As I mentioned, so first of all, safety will never be compromised by sustainability. This is the first approach. So every alternative we use needs to have the same safety quality for us, and we test that very intensively. When we talk about alternative materials, we also investigate at the moment about bio-based materials, but there is also you need to have that in your mind, please. Bio-based, it depends on the type of material you use, because bio-based materials can have also more GHG emissions than thought about. So you need to really investigate about the type of material, and then it needs to give you also the same stability and quality into the products. So yeah, the R&D part is there for us. We look into that, but at the moment, in packaging and in the products, we have not finalized that work so far. So we are just in the middle of that, and at the moment we could find recycled materials in certain parts where we could successfully show that the quality is the same, but for bio-based materials it's still in work. Okay, then another good point, Bernadette, for you, which products do you offer in service and repair?
Oh, yeah, it's mainly long-lasting PPE, often used PPE and high-value PPE. So mainly it's the communication headsets that we are producing in Sweden. It's welding equipment, and it's reusable respirators or PNSA in that area that we are offering service for with our partners and by 3M itself.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. And let me just scroll. I think there's two more, and then we can close the session. So we wish to have more recyclability of your products. How do you want to realize that is the question. Bernadette, maybe you, because you're coming from service and repair and we're working on recycling strategies. We talk a lot about that. Maybe you start and I can add something to that.
That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we are considering recyclability of products and packaging. And regarding products, I must say, it's not easy because especially PPE is very often contaminated, and recyclability, you do not really want to have critical products out of contaminated materials. So that's, for example, why in Aura we are using pre-consumable recycled material. So you can be sure that this is kind of virgin material. But we are concentrating very much on packaging right now, because that is a way where we can work together with our suppliers to make packaging material recyclable, and using not only recycled material but also making it recyclable. Yeah, and then as a worldwide company, you can consider, or you can imagine, we have to consider all the different local regulations regarding recyclability. Yes, we are working on it. Yes, if possible, we will also add features of recyclability to our products where it's possible, where it's financially attractive as well. So it must be payable, it must be affordable, and then we have that on our mind. But it's for products, it's not so easy. For packaging, it seems to be feasible. If you want to add something, Claudia, please.
Yes. Just one more comment, if you allow me to do. I'm sure you're aware of the different types of recyclings which are available in the market. So just to keep it simple, there's the mechanical recycling process and the chemical recycling process. And some of our products could be handled in mechanical recycling processes, but most of them would need a chemical recycling treatment. And there we also look into the compromise, let's say, is it really not harming then the environment more if you need really intensive chemical additional processes to dismantle the product, to treat it correctly in the waste streams. So this is very complex as our parts are really, built from different kind of materials, and it needs to be also easy to handle for the end user as well in the end. So this is why it takes the time to find the right way to go, and to even also, especially I think, always keep in mind that it should not, if it's recyclable, it should also not harm the environment in addition, just because it's too complex, too many chemicals are used, and maybe leads to more environmental impact than thought. Okay, and then last but not least, Bernadette, the new communication headset with solar panels. Does it also work in closed rooms as well, is the question.
Yes, it does. Good question. It's, of course, you need the product with a headband because we have to install the solar film somewhere. But it's even working in closed rooms as long as you have light, artificial light that is charging the batteries there. So yes, it's working inside as well if you have some light, and outside it's working, of course, as well if it's light
Perfect.
outside.
Yeah, and we're very proud to have that launched product in the market now as a sustainable solution. So all the questions in regards to products and the portfolio will go to Avantor, and Avantor will answer them offline. And with that, we would like to say thank you for your attention. I hope you have enjoyed the content. And Bernadette?
And hand over to Andrea for the goodbye
Yeah.
words. Thank you very much from our side.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the great presentation, and thank you all for listening. I hope you had an interesting session. You will receive an email afterwards with a link to the recording, so you and your colleagues can listen again whenever you want. The recording will also be stored on Avantor on vwr.com under events. There you can also start the recording. A survey will come up to you also now after the webinar. Please share your thoughts there with us. And every attendee will get a certificate of attendance afterwards. Thanks a lot, Bernadette, Claudia, and I wish you all a very nice rest of the day. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.